Hey, glad to have you here on the channel. If it's your first time, don't forget to subscribe and share the video. It's important for the channel's growth. Tell me where you're watching from. Let's dive in. Let me take you back to a night that shattered the foundation of my life. The evening of our 10th wedding anniversary. Lila and I had spent over a decade building a life side by side. 10 years of marriage, 2 wonderful kids, Aaron and Nolan, and countless memories. That night was supposed to be a joyful celebration of all that we had achieved together, a tribute to our shared journey. We had arranged for my mother to watch the kids so we could host an intimate gathering at home with the people closest to us. Lila went above and beyond. The house was breathtaking. Gold and silver balloons gently swayed from the ceiling, fairy lights cast a soft, romantic glow, and our finest dishes were arranged flawlessly. Soft jazz melodies floated through the air, every detail carefully thought through. I was just checking the kitchen one last time when I heard her voice call from upstairs. "Darren, did you put the wine in the fridge?" "All set," I replied, holding up a bottle of her favorite Chardonnay with a grin. Moments later, she came down the stairs in a stunning emerald gown that hugged her figure perfectly. I couldn't take my eyes off her. "You look incredible," I said, unable to hide my admiration. She smirked. "Flatter me later, lover boy." By 7, our guests had begun to arrive. There was Sienna, Lila's college roommate, Mason from her book club, Ava, one of her work friends, and Aiden, my best friend since childhood. He'd flown in just for the occasion and was staying at a hotel nearby. Back then, I would have described him as family. Loyal, dependable, someone I never imagined I'd doubt. "Darren," Aiden called out as he walked in, holding a sleek bottle of top-shelf scotch. "Happy anniversary, brother." "Thanks, man," I said, clapping him on the back. "Nice choice." "For the perfect pair," he replied with a wink, handing Lila a bouquet of fresh white lilies. "For the lady of the night." She smiled, cheeks tinged pink. "You're such a charmer, Aiden." The evening unfolded effortlessly. Stories flowed, laughter bounced from wall to wall, and we toasted to the years behind us. When Lila raised her glass, her voice trembled just slightly. "To 10 amazing years," she said. "To love, to perseverance, and to Darren, the man who's made this life possible." Cheers erupted. I kissed her cheek, feeling secure, content, certain our love was unshakable. Later, Sienna twirled her wine glass and raised an eyebrow. "Know what this party is missing? Dancing." Lila's eyes sparkled. "Yes, Darren, turn up the volume." I groaned theatrically, but obliged. In moments, our living room became a dance floor. Lila floated from guest to guest, swaying with Sienna, then Ava, then Mason, and eventually Aiden. I noticed, but didn't think much of it. Not yet. Eventually, Ava suggested taking the party downtown, a club, to keep the night going. The idea gained traction fast. "I love that," Lila said, clapping with excitement. I hesitated. "I'm beat, honestly. Work's been brutal. Maybe next time?" Lila pouted, teasing. "It's our anniversary, Darren. Don't wimp out on me." "You go ahead," I said with a smile, masking my fatigue. "I'll keep things locked down here." She looked at me for a moment, as if unsure, then nodded. "Fine, but don't be jealous when I bring home all the juicy stories." "Have fun," I said, kissing her gently on the forehead. When I woke the next morning, the silence in the house was heavy. Her side of the bed hadn't been touched. A wave of unease settled in. I grabbed my phone, straight to voicemail, again and again. I tried Aiden next. No answer. His phone was off. A cold sweat broke across my back. I called Sienna. "Darren," she answered groggily. "Everything okay?" "Have you seen Lila? Did she crash at your place?" "No," she said slowly. "We hung out a bit longer, maybe an hour or so, but Lila and Aiden stayed behind. Just them." My pulse spiked. Stayed behind? Why? They were really into the party vibe, laughing, dancing, didn't want the night to end. She paused, then added hesitantly, honestly, they seemed unusually close, more than just friendly. I felt a sharp jolt in my chest. What do you mean by close? They were touchy, too much laughter, dancing too close, whispering. I didn't want to assume anything, but it felt off, not innocent. Without another word, I grabbed my car keys and headed straight to Aiden's hotel. At the front desk, I asked if he had returned. Yes, the clerk replied. Came in early morning. He wasn't alone. I felt the blood drain from my face. Sorry. What? There was a woman with him, he added cautiously. They seemed comfortable. I assumed they were a couple. My voice caught in my throat. Can you describe her? The clerk hesitated. Slim, dark hair. She wore a green dress. All the air left my lungs. My heart stopped. That's my wife, I muttered. Lila. He's my best friend. The clerk looked troubled. I don't know if I can... Please, I cut in, my voice cracking. I need to know. Moments later, room key in hand, I climbed the stairs like I was sleepwalking, every step heavier than the last. At his door, I paused, took a breath, then turned the key. The room was dim and still. I flicked on the lights. Clothes lay scattered on the floor, his shirt, her green dress. My gut twisted into knots. I looked toward the bed. There they were. Entwined, naked, sleeping. What the hell is this? I roared, my voice slicing through the quiet like a blade. They jolted awake, eyes wide, limbs scrambling. Lila pulled the blanket around herself, face drained of all color. Her gaze met mine, full of panic and guilt. Aiden jolted upright beside her, hands up as if to ward off a blow, his voice shaky with panic. Darren, wait. Just... wait a second. Wait? I snapped, my words slicing through the tension like a blade. Wait for what, Aiden? Are you actually saying that with a straight face? My chest heaved with disbelief, fury twisting inside me. With my wife? Have you completely lost it? My wife, Aiden? That final word broke something inside me. My voice wavered, raw and broken, the betrayal crashing over me in waves. Lila crumbled before my eyes, her face pale, her lips quivering, tears cascading down her cheeks. It wasn't supposed to happen, she whispered, voice barely coherent. We were drinking, joking around. It spiraled. I didn't mean for this, I swear. We were both drunk. Drunk, I repeated, a sharp, joyless laugh escaping me. It sounded like rust scraping metal. That's your excuse? A few drinks and suddenly you're in bed with the man who stood beside me at the altar? My best friend? Aiden inched closer, hands raised in surrender, as if he could douse the flames with words. It's not what you think. But I moved faster than the apology could form. My fist crashed into his face with a sickening thud. He reeled back, blood pouring from his nose, hands clutched to his face. Not what I think, I bellowed, consumed by rage. You're naked in bed with my wife, Aiden. How the hell else am I supposed to interpret this? I advanced, breathing ragged, fists clenched so tight they trembled. Get up, I shouted, voice cracking. Fight me! Come on, be a man! Stop, Darren, please. Lila's voice broke through the chaos, thick with desperation. This won't fix anything. I turned on her, fury burning through me. You don't get to say that. Not after this. The room became a whirlwind of pain. Lila sobbed uncontrollably, repeating how it had been a terrible mistake, how she never meant for it to happen. Aiden, bloodied and mute, tried to speak, but nothing he said could mean anything now. I couldn't hear them. Not really. I gave you everything, I spat, venom laced through every word. I trusted both of you. And this is how you repay me? Darren, please. Lila's voice had been reduced to a broken whisper. I'm sorry. It didn't mean anything. I still love you. It meant enough to destroy everything we had, I said coldly, my voice flat and sharp as glass. You broke us, Lila. There's nothing left to save. I'll be filing for divorce. Expect to hear from my lawyer. The fire in me slowly gave way to something heavier, something hollow. I left the hotel like a ghost, got in my car, and just drove. I didn't have a destination, only the need to escape. Eventually, I found myself outside my mother's house. I couldn't handle the silence alone. My hand shook as I knocked. When the door opened and I saw her face, steady, familiar, I collapsed inside. Mom, I need you, I murmured, barely keeping it together. I don't know what to do. She stepped aside immediately, concern etched deep in her features. What happened, Darren? I swallowed the lump in my throat and forced the truth out. I caught them, Lila and Aiden. They slept together, on our anniversary. My voice cracked, but I kept going. It's over. I'm ending it. I have to. She stood there in silence, letting the pain hang in the air. Oh, sweetheart, she finally said, wrapping her arms around me. I'm so sorry. I can't imagine how much that hurts. Come inside. You don't have to face this alone. Inside, the kids were playing, their laughter cutting through the devastation like sunlight in fog. They looked up and smiled at me. I managed a weak smile back, knelt down, and pulled them into a hug like I'd never let go. They were the only steady thing I had left. Later, I sat at the kitchen table, Mom across from me. She listened quietly as I unraveled everything, piece by piece. I told her how I didn't want to turn the kids' lives upside down, how I was scared of what this would do to them. She rested her hand over mine and said, I know you're hurting, but you have to give yourself space too. You've been wounded, Darren. Let yourself breathe. She paused, her voice soft but firm. Let them stay here for a few days. Use the time to clear your head. You need it. They need it too. Her words grounded me in a way nothing else had. She was right. I couldn't go back to that house. Not yet. The kids needed calm, and I needed distance. I checked into a nearby hotel. The silence there felt suffocating at first, but slowly I leaned into it. I let the emptiness settle, not to crush me, but to help me think. Piece by piece, the chaos began to dull, just enough for me to start imagining what came next. The divorce took 7 months. During that time, Lila stayed in the house with the children. They were with her on weekdays, with me on weekends. Not seeing them every day tore at me, but I made those weekends count. In the end, the judge granted her primary custody and the house. Watching the life I built slip away was like bleeding slowly, but I had to let it go, for the kids' sake. They needed consistency more than I needed justice. So I held tight to those weekends. We made pancakes. We built Lego cities. I helped with their math homework and read bedtime stories like my life depended on it. Those moments were real. They were ours, and they meant everything. While the kids were with me, I worked hard to keep their days predictable and comforting, clinging to any sense of normalcy I could provide in a world that no longer felt steady. Watching them grow and shift before my eyes made it clear how crucial it was for me to remain constant. They needed my presence more than ever. The ache of the divorce lingered in the background, but I refused to let it rob them of the stable and joyful childhood they deserved. I had to be strong, not only for myself, but more importantly, for them. Despite my dedication to being the kind of father they could depend on, the pain never truly disappeared. Each time Lila arrived to drop them off, that old wound reopened, fresh with the reminder of betrayal. She was still their mother, and nothing could undo that fact, even if part of me sometimes wished it could. My thoughts often circled back to what had happened between her and Aiden. Was it a careless mistake? Or had it meant something deeper than that? I suspected I would never get a clear answer. Perhaps it didn't matter anymore. What did matter was what lay ahead. The children's future was still unfolding, and I needed to be focused on that. As time passed, a new rhythm settled into place. The kids grew older, and gradually, so did I begin to heal. Eventually, someone new came into my life, a woman whose warmth and patience weren't burdened by my past. Lila found someone as well. Aiden's name was never brought up again, but it was obvious she too was trying to move forward, piecing together a life from what was left behind. As for Aiden, I never sought him out. Forgiveness didn't come, and I never pretended otherwise. What he did cut too deep, and I wasn't interested in pretending that time could erase it. Though I moved on in many respects, the shadow of what happened remained with me, quiet but constant. The sharpness of the pain eventually faded, but its trace was permanent. In time, I came to realize that peace didn't require apologies. I didn't need Lila to ask for forgiveness, nor did I need an explanation from Aiden. I had my children, I had built a new chapter for myself, and I had managed to hold on to my dignity. That, I came to see, was enough. This story has come to an end. What's your opinion? Share it in the comments, my friend. And if you liked this story, check out other exciting videos on my channel. I'll say goodbye until the next video. See you!